Hey guys, what's up? It's Ripe again. In today's video, an entitled smug Karen called the police on me for breaking into a house. The only problem is, I am actually the owner of the property. Here is what happened. Subscribe to Ripe on YouTube and hit the bell to turn on notifications. The first one starts like this. Moving into a new house is something amazing and exciting, but moving into a different country is something else. My family and I are moving to the Czech Republic and we are very excited about it. We bought a nice house where everyone had his room and there was space for everyone. The house is beautiful both on the inside and the outside, and it's somewhere on the outskirts of the city. It's a silent area with a forest and a lake very close to it. We were finally in front of the house looking at it stunned. Some neighbors even came to welcome us into the neighborhood. We got inside and started cleaning and unpacking. After 30 minutes since we've been in the house, I hear police sirens. I don't think anything of it yet because there's no way it's for our house. A few seconds later though, someone knocks on the door. I open the door and I see a policeman standing there. Behind him there is a woman with short hair, a pink shirt and smiling at me. "Hello sir, I'm sorry to disturb you, but what are you doing in this house?" asked the police officer. "My family and I just moved here. We were cleaning and unpacking." "Why? Did something happen?" I replied confused. "This woman here called us, telling us that you are robbing," replied the police officer. "No, I can show you the legal documents proving that I own this property," I replied. "Why would you think that?" I asked, looking at the woman. "Because you look poor and dangerous. Plus, I don't trust other races to be around me," replied Karen. "Ah, so it's because we are Asians. I understand now," I said, smiling. "I'm sorry for this misunderstanding and for disturbing you." "Have an amazing day," said the police officer. I went inside and told my family what just happened. We laughed, but we were sad at the same time. It was not fair for something like this to happen only because of our race, but we were ready to fight this Karen. A few days after we moved, the police came again. It was another police officer telling us that they received an anonymous tip. "Someone called us telling us that you beat your children. That person said that they hear crying at night and that everyone in the neighborhood knows," said the police officer. "Well, you can come in and talk to my kids. Also, I know exactly who called you. My neighbor Karen, she is very racist and she tries anything possible to get us into problems." I replied. The police officer came inside, looked at the kids and talked to them, asking them a million questions. The police officer had to leave empty-handed because he did not find anything. I was shocked at how mean some people can be, lying about someone you don't even know. After that, police came to our house countless times. At this point, we were friends with every policeman from the closest station. We were accused of so many things that I cannot even remember all of them. One time it was 5 AM when aggressive knocking on the front door woke us all up. I ran downstairs and I saw the police were standing right in front of our door, so I opened it. The policeman entered the house and started looking everywhere, not talking to me at all, ignoring all my questions. After half an hour of turning my house upside down, they stopped. "We received an anonymous tip that you are keeping drugs here," said a police officer. "Sir, all these anonymous tips come from the same person. Karen, my neighbor, she is racist," I replied. "I understand. We are sorry for everything," said the police officer. After this incident, the police stopped coming that often, but we had a new problem, which was school. Karen kept telling me that we were bribing the teachers and that something is wrong with our child. He is either a very good cheater or a nerd. "If you ask me, none of these choices are good," said Karen, laughing, standing on our porch. "Firstly, I won't ask you. Secondly, my son loves learning and he's very good at it. No need to be racist," I replied angrily. "I don't think that it's fair for all the races to learn together and I'm gonna bring this problem to the school board," she said. Soon after that, the school board called for a meeting with all the parents. Everyone was asked if they are bothered that all the races learn together, and everyone said no. "Are you all stupid? This is not fair. His child is better than ours. He has advantages," said Karen. "Well, good for him then," replied one mother, smiling. "I'm sorry, lady, but there's nothing we can do. The only possibility I see is homeschooling your kid," replied a teacher. There were many other problems at school after that, but we managed to fix them all with the help of the understanding teachers and the other lovely parents. Karen still loved trying to make our life a living hell, and she used all the Asian stereotypes to do it. One day I just got back from work, I parked in my yard and I got out of the car when I heard someone. "Your car is not parked right," said Karen. "It actually is, and if it wouldn't be, it would not bother you at all," I replied. "You're the kind of driver that puts us all in danger," she said angrily. "The car is on my property," I said smiling. "It does not matter, you should always park correctly," she said, looking at my car parked very correctly, by the way. "Look at your car, Karen," I said and entered the house. It's been 3 weeks since I have not seen or heard from Karen. It's not that I miss her, but it's just weird, so I decided to find out what happened. I went outside and waited for a neighbor to pass by. "Hello Chris, how's your day?" I asked, smiling. "Hey, it's very good, how is yours?" he replied. "It's good." "I wanted to ask you if you know what happened to Karen. I have not seen her in like 3 weeks. "Why, do you miss her?" asked Chris, laughing. "Of course not, but it's very suspicious. I'm afraid she might be up to something." "Oh no, she flew the country," replied Chris. "You might not know it, but she lost custody of her child because she was beating him. She then tried kidnapping him with a stolen car," he added. "You can't be serious," I replied. "Yeah, she got arrested and then she was released on bail and she took the chance to flee the country. Actually, her house is for sale now," said Chris. This was a shocking story, honestly. "Thank you and have an amazing day," I said. I ran inside and told my family what Chris just told me. Not long after that, I saw a nice Asian family that moved into Karen's house. Everyone was welcoming them and we all enjoyed their company, also happy that Karen left. And yeah, ripe stars, that's probably the best thing that could have happened to the house of this stupid racist Karen. That is really a very healthy dose of karma. And you know guys, one of the things that I love so much about the neighborhood I am living in here now, it is so mixed, there are so many foreigners and so many Thai families and they are all living together. It's a really nice community. But anyway, let's continue to the next one. This one is titled Most Entitled Driver. I live in this upper-class liberal town in Ohio called Bexley. Everyone in this town acts like complete self-righteous, narcissistic, entitled boneheads and feel that their crap smells better than everyone else's. People buy their kids new luxury cars when they hit 16. My neighbor got a brand new BMW for passing her driving exam. It sounds absurd, but it's just how Bexley is. One other thing about Bexley is that people from Bexley drive like the road is their private racetrack. And yeah, ripe stars, certainly the people from Bexley seem like lovely fellas. What a nice place to live in. If you've ever been there, let us know in the comments. Anyway, they blow through stop signs, turn left on red and park wherever their car can fit. I'm one of the few kids in Bexley who works a job to pay for his own college, small rent to live at home. I am 20 and 18 was the limit for my parents, car and car insurance. I am grateful that my parents pay for my home food, heat and AC, electricity, phone bill, etc. I get about 5 hours of sleep a night. So one day, about a month ago, I decide to grab some sushi after the morning shift at work. This sushi place is right by a small private college within Bexley called Pexel University. I pull into the lot to find one empty space and I pull in. I get out, go into the sushi joint and spend maybe half an hour there. After a great lunch, I go back to see my car, which is blocked into the space by a huge grey GMC Yukon. I was blocked in the spot as the parking spaces have those concrete bumps in front to separate the spots. I took a picture of the license plate just for reference. Well, I just waited patiently for the car owner to show back up because maybe there were no spots to park in at the time and my car just happened to be the one. As well as 2 other cars next to mine, of course. About 10 minutes later, a woman, maybe 35 years old, shows up and sees me in my car listening to music. She knocks on my window and tells me that I need to turn my music down and that us college kids are ruining her city. First of all, I go to Ohio State and not Capital. I look at her blankly as my music is not even that loud and I am wondering how she assumes I go to Capital. She yells in my face, "Wake up, you spoiled brat!" Now I had no clue who this crazy woman was and I just turned my music off and shut the window and continue waiting for the car owner to move their car. Well, the woman pulls keys out of her purse and hops in her gargantuan GMC Yukon and screeches away, spattering mud on my car, which I paid for and paid to clean. I was the brat. Seriously? This woman has the audacity to seal 3 cars in and complain that my music is too loud. I was 15 minutes late back to work that day. I am usually never late. This was the first time I was late to work and I hope it was the last. I swore that if I ever saw her again, I would do to her what she had done to me, and well, fast forward a month later to what is today. I decide to grab some sushi after taking an exam and went to the same sushi place in the same parking spot to see the same grey GMC Yukon taking up both of the last 2 spots in the lot. I am cloud 9 at this moment and park right next to the driver's side of her car, making sure I was in a spot and that she could not get into her car. There was about 5 inches between my passenger door and her driver door. I leave my car, grab sushi to go and patiently sit in my car. Well, what do you know, about 15 minutes later the woman walks up to her double parked car to see that I had sealed her in. I hear her yelling that she's gonna sue the person who did this. She sees me listening to music in the car that is blocking her from leaving. She approaches my car and demands I move. I tell her, you got into the spot, you can get out of the spot. She threatens to call the cops and I just laugh. I know the laws and even have a thin blue line flag bumper sticker on my car. So anyway, she calls the cops and within 1 minute a cop shows up. I get out of my car and the woman starts yelling at the cop about how I had sealed her in. I told the cop I was trying to park within the space. The cop looks at her car and then looks at mine and looks so disappointed after that. The officer says to the woman to be happy that I did not have her car towed. He also said that she needs to move her car within the next minute or he will ticket her for parking illegally. Angrily, the woman climbs in her passenger door and is struggling to reach the driver's side. She is throwing garbage out of her car in a fit, gets in and moves her car over to drive. The cop knocks on her window and orders her to pick up her trash. She says to him, well, isn't that what garbage men do? I am trying so hard to keep a straight face, but I just start laughing my ass off because of her stupid remark. At this point, the woman looks at me and it seems she finally remembered who I was. Looking very pissed off, she sighs, gets out of her car, picks up her trash and gets back into her car. The cop then gets back into his car and tries to pull away as the woman jerks her car out of the spot, nearly hitting the cop car, and then speeds to the end of the lot where she stops at the red light. The woman, forgetting that she's not the queen of the world and speeding is illegal, immediately gets pulled over. This lot is about 40 feet wide and the woman is about 20 feet from me, so I can hear her. She starts yelling to the cop, "Reckless driving?" And I know exactly what is going on. I then get back in my car and turn the music back on and start thanking the heavens for giving me this satisfaction. I pull away from the lot to have the greatest sense of fulfillment I've ever had in my life. And yeah, Ripe Stars, I can definitely understand what OP was going through in that moment. That must have been so satisfying, almost like a gift from heaven. Anyway, the next one is titled Getting Revenge on Dog Owner. We, my husband and I, moved to the city and rented a house in an older middle-class neighborhood. Every day, regardless of the weather, I took my dog on the same 1.5-mile walk when I got off work. I met a lot of people in the area this way and also their pets. It got to the point where I would say hi to the dogs by name and they did not bother us. So I'm on my daily walk with my golden retriever and notice a house down the street has a dog in the backyard I've never seen before. She did not bark or fuss, so I did not worry about it. Until we were on our way home and this dog is sitting in the stoop out front and this is not the fenced-in backyard anymore. The kicker is, the front yard / stoop area has those invisible fence dog in training flags, so I am skeptical because I know from experience that those will never stop a dog who really wants to leave the area. I take appropriate precautions, putting my dog on the opposite side of this random mud and hold his leash, a 6-foot one, so he's walking right next to me. I finally keep my eyes on this dog the entire time we walk past the house. We make it past the house and onto the neighbor's stretch of sidewalk without incidents. That's when it hits me. 100 pounds of English Mastiff barrels into my leg and heads straight for, you guessed it, my dog. The Mastiff is snarling and biting and my dog is trying so hard to run away, but I know I cannot let go of the leash. If he runs, it will be just worse. So I manage to grab the Mastiff's collar in one arm and lock my elbow to hold it there, and I do the same to my dog and just hold them apart. I did not realize it at the time, but I was screaming the entire time this was happening, and neighbors start rushing out of the houses around us, but no one from the Mastiff's house. Someone then grabs the Mastiff and puts her in the backyard while I'm getting talked down by another neighbor. I am literally sobbing, looking over my dog's face with the light on my phone when the dog owner pulls into the driveway. She is my age and immediately freaks out when I tell her what happened. I ask for the rabies vaccination documentation and city license and she brings it out. And finally, I am calming down and it turns out my golden was fine and we are talking about how much we love our dogs and how she is saving up for training. Apparently the Mastiff is a rescue with a bad past when, I kid you not, the Mastiff opens the backyard gate and skulks down the driveway. "Get back in the yard!" the owner shouts at the Mastiff. I bet you can guess how that went. The Mastiff goes right for my golden and pins him to the ground. Have you ever heard a dog scream? I have. So what do? Of course, I jump right on top it all, because my dog has been there for me for a lot of stuff and he is a pansy ass and needs mom to step up sometimes. The Mastiff has her jaw locked around my dog's head, so I wrap my fingers under her jaw and into her mouth and clamp down on her tongue and teeth until she let go. The nice neighbor helps the owner drag the dog inside. I am crying again, and this time my dog is from cuts across his face. They are around his eyes and under his lips and down his cheeks. But he seems okay otherwise. No eye damage, thank God, and as soon as he sees the Mastiff is gone, he is looking to get belly rubs from the people assembled. I tell the girl that we seem okay for now and I will let her know if anything changes and then head home. Cue the adrenaline dump. We get home and my husband is gone on a business trip, so I start flipping out. I call my very first superhero, which is my dad. He helps talk me down enough so I can clean my golden's face and get him wrapped up in a blanket and settled. That is when I realize that my jeans are filthy and have blood on them. So I go to change into my comfy pants and we get some serious snuggles going on when I realize that I am the one bleeding on the same leg that was next to and facing the Mastiff. Well damn. I've got a puncture wound and bite bruising around my thigh and now blood is running down my leg. So I call my dad back. Husband was in a different time zone and literally couldn't answer, and we decided to call the Ask a Nurse number run by our insurance. Now, I did not really want to go to urgent care as it is 8-ish at night now, but apparently dog bites are a huge deal. So I interrupt my sister's evening class at grad school and she comes to take me to the ER. Leaving my brother-in-law with my golden so he wouldn't get upset and be alone. And yeah, I'm that dog mom. I let the other owner know about the puncture on my leg and that I was advised to get it checked out, and then we head out. 2 hours later and I am back home with some takeout and antibiotics and snuggle the hell out of my dog. The next morning my dog goes into the vet to get everything looked at as well, and I log the necessary reports with animal control. They get a small ticket and the Mastiff has to spend a week in the in-house quarantine, but nothing else major. My golden has no repercussions. Fast forward to when my doctor's bill arrives. I deliver a copy to the Mastiff owner and advise she contact her renter's insurance because it should cover something that small like $400. And I bet Pro Revenge can guess what happens next. She then refuses to pay my bill and has her mom write a letter about how insurance rates and Obamacare mean that bill was inflated. Oh. No, she didn't. This is where I literally start Pro Revenge. I call my dad. Did I mention he is an attorney? We begin sending letters letting them know they can either pay or face a lawsuit, and still they refuse to pay. We gave them so many chances, but after 18 months said F it and filed a lawsuit. Suddenly they have an attorney too and really want to settle out of court for less than my hospital bill and vet bill after I have already paid out of my own pocket. So we decide to screw them to the wall instead. Here's the thing though, from the second I got home after the bite, I saved photos of every bite mark, every bruise and the vet bill and doctor's bill and what my dog looked like after treatment. He had huge bald patches, the cost of my antibiotics. I saved the letters and recorded the interactions between the Mastiff owner and myself. Why? Because I know how easily this can go wrong. I grew up on stories of it. Finally, our court date arrives and we submitted article after article into evidence and kept track of each individual filing fee. In the end, they had nothing to stand on. I was the only witness to the initial accident. They tried to say that I was trespassing. How did they know, since they were not home? Also, by the way, I wasn't. They said my dog is the one that bit me, and then how come they did not contact animal control and report it during the officer's investigation? They dragged it out for hours until the judge threw the book at them for wasting the court's time and irresponsible pet ownership. The Mastiff owner paid all of my medical bills, the vet bills, the court fees, and emotional and physical damages to the tune of $1,000. The courthouse even validated my parking. Needless to say, own up when you F up, because you never know how much worse life will get when you try to lie. And yeah, ripe stars, I gotta say, I really don't like these people that get huge dogs and then fail to take care of them correctly. I feel like if you get such a big dog and you cannot take care of him whatsoever, then you should not have a dog like that. That is just irresponsible and stupid and can lead to issues like the ones in the story. But either way, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again tomorrow.